Please, it's Gerry coming to you from Guanacaste, Costa Rica at the Rythmia, the world famous Rythmia Life Advancement Center. Please forgive my cough. I can't seem to shake it. But what is Rythmia? Rythmia is a life advancement center that uses plant medicine, metaphysical teachings, food, meditation, yoga to bring about a life change that's focused on something called a soul merger. And we are amazing at it. How amazing? People all over the world know about us. We're one of TripAdvisor's #1 customer rated resorts in the world. We're in the top 10. Yeah. The interesting thing about this is that we've had 12,000 guests here. 12,000 through this program, and 97.12% record a life-changing miracle during their stay. That's 971 out of every 1,000. 12,000 people. This is an amazing place, and it's beautiful. And when I tell you it's beautiful, if you could see what I look at here every day, you'd be amazed. Now, last week we had Michael Beckwith, the week before, then Taito Juanito, then Jen and Alex this week. We have big weeks after big weeks after big weeks, and it's only going to get busier and busier and busier as the world enters this phase of change that we're very, very, very deep into at the moment. This is called Let's Go One. We just got done with all of the tools. Now this is called Let's Go One. What is this about? This is about using facts as motivators to get going. This is what Let's Go is about. Let's Go is about using facts as motivators to get going. And why are we going to talk about all this? Well, the truth of this is this. This has all been figured out. How to succeed at things has all been figured out. It's been figured out, audited, A/B split. Data has been compiled for years and years and years, and this multitude of data, and everybody has access to it. Everybody has access to it. The facts are there if you look. If the goal is to become a beneficial presence, if the goal is to work in conjunction with the universe to bring all ships up, if that's the goal, there is a system for doing it, and that system exists. It's out there. Now, like any system that works, the longer you deny that system, or the longer that you don't employ a system, or the longer that you are unsure, the longer and the more frustrating and the more prolonged the desert of not getting things done is. That's the truth. So this week I came across a study, and the study is just amazing. It's amazing. So if you tune into this and just take this in for a second. The study was done in 1979 at Harvard. 1,000 people were surveyed. So it's statistically significant. 1,000 people were surveyed. 83% of those people had no specific goal. 83% of them had no specific goal. 14% had specific goals, but they weren't written down. So 14% had specific goals, but they weren't written down. 3% had very specific goals that were written down. Okay? Now, 10 years later, they go back to the same 1,000 people. You can't make this up. They go back to the same 1,000 people. The 14% with specific goals earned on average 300% more than the 83% without. 3 times, 300% more. Now, here's the kicker. The 3% that had specific goals that were written down were earning 1,000% more than the 83%. 1,000% more. End of story. That's over. If you listen to that and you try to come up with some other theory as to why it would happen, you're kidding yourself, right? So for years, people have been compiling this data. For years, people have been showing us how to do it. And the quicker that you get into the practice of doing things like this, the easier it's going to be for you to get to where you want to go. What you don't want to do, the longer that you stay on the sidelines, the longer that you stay in indecision, the longer that you stay wondering and hoping and thinking about it, the longer and the more frustrated you're going to become. So let's go back to some basic stuff. We're 400 trillion to 1 to be here. Nobody gets out alive. We are both feet in. If you're both feet in and you have access to this data, if you're both feet in, and maybe one of these written goals is to come to a place like Rythmia and get merged, or maybe one of these goals is to start your own business. Maybe one of these goals is to do whatever. But whatever it is, write it down today. Commit it to your prayers. Now, here's the other thing that we find out. Systems work and people don't. If you are not in a system, and a lot of people that are super free thinkers hate this kind of terminology, but I'm going to tell you what I mean by a system. If you are not getting up at the same time every day, if you don't have a routine, if you don't have a daily practice, you're losing it. You're losing out. You're missing out, because our systems are what create the consistency that leaks into the other parts of our life. So in other words, if I'm consistent about getting up and exercising and saying my prayers, then I would also be consistent about saving a little money. I would also be consistent about investing. I would also be consistent about practicing my trade. I would also be consistent about what I do in my life. It's when there's inconsistency that we can't seem to create change. So I'm going to tell you that if you're waiting to get in flow, you're wrong. If you're waiting for Mr. Right, you're wrong. If you're waiting for the perfect opportunity, you're wrong. If you're in a job that you don't like and you're waiting for something to happen so that it changes, you're wrong. Because you can make the change now. The fact of the matter is, you're a living miracle. People don't like the word miracle. Tell me what a 400 trillion to 1 shot is. Tell me what in the God's green earth is that? If that's not a miracle, what is? You're a miracle. The fact that you're going to give up your body and you're going to continue on isn't a miracle? Holy God, everything is a miracle. And if you're in this miracle, then let's create miracles for others. Let's raise the harbor. Let's raise every ship in the harbor by raising our own water. And to do that, it starts with this. It starts with writing things down. If you do it, you win. If you're making excuses, you're going to lose. You're going to lose. Now, I don't care what that is that you're writing down. You want to become the world's best guitarist. You want to win an Emmy or a Grammy. You want to create a community center. You want to bring quality food to your neighborhood. Whatever it is yours. And you can have it if you want it, but do not dilly-dally. Don't waste time. Don't wait for shit to get good. Do not waste a moment. This is the most valuable lesson. There's no other lesson in life that equals the value of this lesson, because all of us, one day, sooner than we ever think, are going to be on our deathbed saying our last goodbyes. And in that moment, we're not going to wish we waited another year. In that moment, we're not going to wish that we started that business later. In that moment, we're not going to wish that we didn't tell someone we loved them. All of that gets rolled up. The intelligence, what's intelligent, is understanding that now. True intelligence, what is consciousness? What is awareness? It's knowing. And knowing that this is the truth, that this is super finite and it's going to end. That in and of itself should be enough to get you off the couch. That in and of itself should be enough to get you to write something down. You know how easy it is to write something down. Even if that writing something down is a start date. Follow me. If I'm discombobulated, if I'm unsure, sad, unmotivated, unhealthy, eating wrong, I can write down a date. This is the date, my goal date to starting. Write it down. Get in the game. Get in the game. You know, there's all different types of regret and remorse, right? And I deal with a lot of people who work in hospice. And I actually think that everybody once in your life should be rich. I always say that. I also believe that everybody once in their life should spend a week working in hospice. And the sooner you could do that, the better. To see what's important. And a lot of people say, oh, nobody ever said they wish they spent another day in the office. But that is not true. What people say is, I wish I went after my dreams. I wish I kissed that person. I wish I told my mom I loved her. So what does it say? Get busy living. We have data on how to be successful at living. We got data. Come to a place like Rythmia, get merged. Pick something from a place that you're burning in all three places. Your gut, your heart, and your head. You're burning for it. And then live life with reckless abandon of the attainment of that thing. That's it. All of a sudden, then, you're living life. And you can do that with hyperbolic discounting. It's okay to discount. People don't understand. So what I can tell you is this. If you're vigilant about your system, and the more vigilant about your system you are, the more success you're going to gain, right? But if you're in your 30s and you're vigilant about your system, I can tell you that in your 40s, you're going to have a lot of time to relax because there's a whole bunch of people out there, a lot of free thinking, I don't know the right word. It's a particular type, but they believe that exercising your freedoms in the moment is what creates lasting joy, but it doesn't. You see, because if you're systematic about your approach to this, and the data is out there, all you got to do is read some stuff. The data is everywhere. You really have to be blind not to see the data, not to know that goal setting works, not to know that proactive prayer works, not to know that meditation works, not to know that yoga works, not to know that hard work works. You got to be dumb. You really got to be dumb or blind, right? But assuming you're neither, assuming you're intelligent, aware, awake, and your eyes are open, it's all there. Now, the thing is, by having the strictest system, it will allow you the most freedom. Hear me on this. By having the most strict system, it will allow you the most freedom. Why? Because from a strict system, over a period of about 10 years, you will generate the monetary, energetic equivalent of success, which usually is currency. That currency will allow you freedoms that you wouldn't have if you hadn't done this. There's no way to get those kind of freedoms. What do I mean by freedoms? Well, you sell your company, you want to take a year off work. Great. Go ahead. Go travel the world. Go see what you want to see. You get so good at playing guitar, you go on a world tour and you go everywhere you want to go. See, the self-restriction, the hyperbolic discounting is what gives you the freedom. Trying to get the freedom before the work is certain death. It makes you unhappy, unhealthy, and sad. And it does. It really does. So, what I'm asking him, when people say consciousness and being aware means being open to the information that's out there that exists. We're lucky we're not the first civilization. We've seen people and we can track success and we know what works. We really do. The problem is a lot of times there's cognitive dissonance between what works and what we want. So a lot of us want it to be different than it is. And that wanting it to be different than it is only frustrates us, only makes us more upset, only makes us more sad, only makes us more victimized. That's all it does. That's all it does. Instead of understanding the cold, hard, and beautiful facts. Why are they cold, hard, and beautiful? Because they are cold. They're facts. They're universal laws. They're beautiful because they give us so much if we listen to them. And if we don't, we only frustrate ourselves. As badly as you want water to roll uphill, it is not going to do it. And the sooner you can bite that off, the better for you. The better for you. The easiest way for con men to make money is to tell you they found an easy way, that there's some easy way to get here. That's how almost all scams are born, right? I found a easy money. You buy this and you sell that and you do this. Right? Right. And it's a great story. My friend makes money working from home. He has 7 sources of, what do they call that? Passive income. And that's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. What makes this worth living isn't the passiveness of it. It's the activeness of it. Being involved, building the company, working in the community, building the house for someone. That is what's cool. That is the juice. And you can't do that without some hyperbolic discounting. It takes work now to get the reward later. It's just the way that it is. So I'm going to ask you today to not fall victim to baloney. Don't fall victim to this. And the sooner you get to see the truth of your own mortality, don't wait until you're going on 60 years old to see that your skin starts to give up or that your eyes no longer work as good as they used to, or that. Know that this is coming and use every opportunity. And I'm going to stick with this about these things. Just remember this. 400 trillion to 1, and I'm not getting out of here with my body. 400 trillion to 1, and I'm not going to get out of here with my body. That trip is generally, in the United States, 68 to 72 years. That's what it is. If I'm, so let's call it 70 years. If I'm at 35, I'm at the halfway mark. Boom, wake up, get going. The good news is this. You only need 10 years. So you can start at 50 if you're 50. You can start at 60 if you're 60. You can start at 70. But you got to start because the end is nearer than you think. It is. So I just want to leave you with that today. And this is our first one. And this is the kind of motivation that I'm going to tell you about is real. Getting a shiny house on the hill is not the motivation. It is not. It is not. But knowing you got a ticket to the lottery, that you are a living miracle statistically, and that you're not getting out of here alive, it's time to wake up. It's time to get going. It's time to make a difference. If we all do this together, we can change this whole world. We can make it a better place to live. We can do better technologies. We can have cleaner rivers. We can have We can have better cities. We can have more love. We can have all of this, but we got to get going. We got to get going. Okay, so I leave you with this today. I was very quick today. It's great to talk to you. Until next week, and hopefully my cough will be completely gone by then. God keep you. God bless you. God hold you, and we will see you then.